Welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing something a little different. We will be doing a story time, talking about all the details in how we quit our jobs, why we quit our jobs, and why we went full-time being eBay resellers. So we're going to be talking about a few years of history to talk about this story. And I made a presentation that Kyle has not seen yet.
Sweet.
It's full of photos and videos going down memory lane over the past, I think I went back to 2019, so the past 5 years.
When you said that, I was thinking 2019 was like 2 years ago.
Nope, 5
No.
years ago.
Mm.
Okay, so we quit our jobs at the end of 2022. And we became full-time eBay resellers at the beginning of 2023.
Cool.
And the jobs that we had before that, we actually started a business, like a partnership with my dad. So he had the know-how, the skills, all of the equipment, except he lived a few hours away in a rural area, and we lived in
What he calls the city.
what he calls the city.
Yeah.
So what he did was he partnered with us. We partnered with him to establish a brand new company together. I come from a marketing, web design, graphic design background. Kyle had experience in the construction trades industry because your dad
Mm-hmm.
also had a construction business.
Yep.
Kyle and I, boots on the ground every single day. We established a business in our area. We did a bunch of advertising.
Mm-hmm.
You started doing bids. The first year we made a whopping like $34,000 total, like gross sales, which was so small. But year after year we got better at what we did, and we eventually got to buy our first official purchase of a big red truck. And this was supposed to make our business thrive and succeed and grow. And it did to a point.
It's all we talked about for like 3 years was, hey, we're going to make so much more money when we get a truck. We're going to, get off of this tiny little trailer.
Yeah, we started with a truck and trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't turn out like we hoped it for. So I have some pictures just to explain kind of what we did in our construction business. And this was just a great time. It was me, Kyle, and my dad working. I think we've got like on and off part-time laborers here and there, like scattered, but for the most part, it was you and my dad doing it. Even down to the point where I had to drive the truck sometimes. I'm not sure why.
I remember that day, Jason was out of town, and we had a job we had to do. So it was you and me for one day.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't drive a stick, and that truck was a stick.
Yeah, this big, huge truck was a manual. And I knew how to drive it thanks to my dad. Mm-hmm. So I drove.
He tried to get me to learn to drive that. And I was like, no, especially when it weighed like 30,000 pounds or something like that. I'm like, I'm not going to learn on that.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that bad to drive, but it was a lot of fun. And I liked being able to help on that side. I did help out shoveling on some days when you needed somebody, but for the most part, I just did the marketing and advertising for you guys.
And we liked it. You did a good job.
Yeah. While we were not in season for our construction business, so during the winter we had to close down just because it was too cold to work, we side hustled like crazy to pay the bills.
Isn't that the theme, though? It's like there's always a side hustle. eBay was a side hustle until it wasn't. I think we just did side hustles until we found one that turned out to be a job.
Yeah, and now eBay's our full-time job, and YouTube is the side hustle now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. But we door dashed and snow shoveled driveways for a short period. You did not like doing that, so it did not last very long.
DoorDash lasted a good while.
I'm talking about the snow shoveling.
Well, it only snows so much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, DoorDash was like thriving in our area. It like just recently like came by. It was like in 2019, especially in 2020. It was amazing. So it paid our bills just fine. And whenever we were not door dashing or shoveling driveways, Kyle had his own reselling business.
Oh yeah. Oh, those are good pictures.
Yeah, I got these
That's
pictures
nice.
for
My
you.
my photos set up, my kiosk. I wish I would have kept that kiosk, by the way, because I'm never
It
gonna
is
find
so
something like that
cool.
again. Most
We
likely.
had to rent a truck from Home Depot
Yeah.
and
And
drive like an hour
we
or
drove
so.
like an hour away, and then the guy didn't even have it. Like it was inside of a trailer home, like in the back corner,
Yeah.
and you couldn't just carry it out. You had to disassemble it to get it out of the building. Just picking that thing up took like 2 hours.
How much you spend on it?
I spent
It's like 100.
yeah, I spent 100 on it, I think.
And I think the truck rental was like 80.
Yeah, I flipped it like within a week after posting it.
And how much do you remember how much you made or sold
We,
it for?
we sold it for like 950. I'm sure it's worth a lot more now.
Yeah. So Kyle, he resold odds and ends, anything that he found that could have profit, he picked it up. And I know during that time as a mom and, got babies to feed now, I was worried about spending our food money on reselling. But Kyle was able to make enough headway in the reselling business to pay our bills and continue growing. And I have these pictures from when we grew it so much that you had your own storage unit.
When we were in the storage business, when I wasn't selling enough to keep it turning, we had to get a storage unit.
Yeah, but we were so proud of it at this time.
Yeah,
We thought we made it big whenever we had an official storage unit because none of it could fit in our tiny townhouse.
our friend was talking to my brother, and he was saying when we posted that we got the storage unit, they're like, Kyle's going to quit his job soon. He's going to go full time into reselling. And I was like, no, I'm not. I have mud
I'm so
jacking.
glad we did not do that.
Yeah, I have mud jacking. This isn't making enough to do that. I mean, it's making okay money. It made enough to justify the storage unit and to be
Yeah.
out shopping and doing
It
it.
was a side hustle.
Right.
So that's what we did during the off season. Mudjack got better and better until it didn't. Our first big red truck literally exploded. The engine exploded on it. Or was it transmission?
No, it didn't explode.
Well, it didn't literally explode, but
Yeah, it broke down. It constantly broke down, but it broke down enough to where we couldn't
it
keep
officially
pouring
died.
money into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needed a whole new engine.
Yeah.
So I have a picture of the tow truck coming in to pick up the dead truck and haul it away. So in February, our season opens up in March, and in February, we found a lead on a second truck. This was 10, 15 years younger than our red truck. Do you remember?
It was 10 years.
10 years younger, hardly had any miles on it. We thought, this is hopeful. We'll just throw the bed onto this new truck, and our business is going to skyrocket at this point because we had such an amazing truck and we got it for such a good deal and everything. We were so proud of it. So we got back up and running for the business or for the season, and it broke down.
It went probably 6 months without breaking down. But then when it started to, it was just constantly in and out of the shop. I remember at one point, within 6 weeks, it had been in and out of the shop like 3 times, and we had spent $20,000 on it in 6 weeks.
Yeah. So we had all of the past year's troubles start back up again with this new truck. We thought we were past it. We thought it became so unreliable that we were off work weeks at a time. We were postponing, rescheduling, refunding, dealing with customers during all of this. So it was actually After the red truck exploded, died, um, I knew enough of reselling, had some success through Kyle, but I didn't like how risky it was. And I wanted to try to work on reselling myself just to help pay the bills during the winter. And whenever our business picked back up in the season, then we would just have a bunch of extra money to just have for extra spending and whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
But I needed answers. I needed to have a clear structure, clear plan. So that's when you introduced me to daily refinement.
Well, do you remember who I introduced you to first?
No, who did you introduce me?
I said, you want to resell clothing. There's this channel called Rally Roots. You should check them out.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So I had you watch like a couple episodes of that.
Yeah.
And I say videos of that. And then you said, this isn't how I think. This isn't my process. You know, you sound just like Chris.
Like really analytical.
Yeah, I was like, you sound just like Chris from Daily Refinement. You should check that guy out.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you start watching that, I think you went into like a cave for 2 weeks, watching all the videos and joining his group and just getting sucked into to reselling.
It's when Tech and Sports and Daily Refinement had a podcast together, and they were sharing all of this on Daily Refinement's YouTube, and I inhaled it. I said, this makes total sense. It has the structure I'm looking for. It has the rules I'm looking for. It has the numbers. Like that's all I wanted. Like I wanted to know facts on reselling and everything. I really liked watching Rally Roots videos, but I needed more answers. Like I needed to know how this thing worked and everything. Yeah. So that's where he introduced me to Daily Refinement. So that brought me to finding a picture of my first setup of trying to take photos of the clothes.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's like a flat lay. That's kind of what I want to do for shirts.
Yeah, that's our first. And I was standing on extra flooring because I wasn't tall enough to get the picture without it being like a weird angle. All I know is that those photos turned out like garbage. Like I was not good at
I
taking
remember
pictures.
each photo. Like you would have me specifically just to bag
I know.
clothing.
Yeah.
So you're like, come down here and help me do photos, and you'd sit there and take your pictures for like, you know, a minute and a half or 2 minutes per piece, and then hand it to me to bag it.
It's probably honestly 3 minutes.
Maybe
3 minutes an item, and then I would just toss it to the side for Kyle to bag and skew.
Yep.
Because that's what I learned. I learned the skew system through Daily Refinement.
Yeah.
But yeah, and whenever Kyle went back to Mudjack, I hit the ground running and just sourced all on my own. Lucas was in school at that time, so I had Zoe as my pal, and we thrifted. I dove into clothing, and furthermore, I found out I really liked jeans, so I just jumped headfirst into it. And I always made a joke. I made a joke with Kyle in the very beginning. We both watch anime, and at that time we were watching My Hero Academia. And I told him, I said, I want to become like the best jeanist because he's all about denim, and it was so dorky. And then I started laughing hysterically at how ludicrous of an idea I had that I could pay our bills only by selling jeans. And I remember you saying, it's not that funny. It's not that crazy.
I was thinking that just now when you said that.
I know.
And I forgot what I was thinking before.
Kind of like it's not that crazy.
It's fine.
But I just thought it would be so ridiculous to tell somebody like, oh yeah, we just sell jeans and that pays our bills.
I did that today. Ran into a guy I haven't seen since I was in high school. And he's like, what are you up to? I'm like, I just sell pants. That's it. And he was like, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. People, like, they're all in disbelief whenever they're like, wow, that pays your bills. I'm like, yeah, it really does. But yeah, I, started doing it, started making headway. I think at the time I was listing about 15 a day. This was all low ASP. I did not, all I was focused on at this point was sell-through, not so much profit.
Well, even with sell-through, some of the stuff we were picking up.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the stuff. I think every 3 months we will look at our oldest inventory and
Hmm.
go, I can't wait till that inventory is gone and never pick up stuff like that
Yeah.
again.
Continually
And it
learn.
never changes. Every 3 months we do this.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
know,
mean, it's less now than it was
yeah,
before.
it's true. Before you're looking at half your store, like the first half,
Half of it's garbage.
and going like half of this is garbage. I can't wait till it's gone. Now I look at the first like few boxes of inventory and I'm like, why did we pick that up?
Yeah. But yeah, I made some connections. I started doing different avenues of sourcing, figuring out what worked for me, because I was doing this all on my own while Kyle did Mudjack. Um, but I found some screenshots from the old Facebook group, and they were awesome to look back on. So in this screenshot, I said I started reselling 3 months ago, joined this group 2 months ago. Um, when I joined, my husband's side of eBay was 600, mine was 100. 2 months later, my side is now 800 and his is around 150. So I was
I
trying.
forgot that we transitioned like that.
Yeah,
Because I thought I stopped completely and then you started.
this photo shows my boxes, my SKU system to the
Yeah.
left, and then all your items are on that shelf.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So we were trying to slowly transition Kyle out because he was busy
I
doing
remember
Mojo.
trying to make you feel better too, because I would sell like, whatever, 6 items in a day, and you'd sell like one every other day, and I'd be like, hey, don't worry, someday
Mm-hmm.
you'll get to where I'm at. So,
Yeah. So I continued doing my thing. I literally spent countless hundreds of hours in the Facebook group, listening to old calls, past calls, being in the new calls, asking a million questions, bugging the crap out of, Michelle and Andy and everybody who was like hosting these different calls. Um, but I learned as much as I possibly could. And in June of my first year of 2022, in June, I had a screenshot where I was able to submit a $900 payment on our Lowe's card because we took out a loan on a card to renovate our house. And we were needing to pay that off. And I was able to submit a $900 payment on it. And it felt so good that I was able to pay off some debt by selling some jeans.
yeah.
And I think at that point is whenever I was starting to laugh, like, oh, what if I can pay our bills? Like all of our bills with the jeans. And then in September, I have the screenshot where I hit a $30,000 90-day sales total. And it blew my mind. I said, I legitimately thought because I sold jeans, I would never see 30K in sales 90-day total unless I had a massive store. I think at that time I think I was just under 1,000 or I hit 1,000 items in my store, which is still not good, but it was good for the time,
Yeah.
Like now we've got 1,800 items in our store and
You can't get past 1,800.
yeah, we're fighting for our life.
Right. We've been trying to grow our store by 100 items for like a month and a half now.
Yeah. Obviously, the bigger the store you have, and like if you know your stuff, you're gonna make more money. So that's what we're trying to do. Now we have 1,800 items with an over $60,000 90. It's doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And like just side note, the 60,000, I think it's at 65,000 for the 90-day total, but it's a stronger 65,000 too. Like,
Yeah.
because a lot of that 30,000 was in shipping because we
Yeah.
were selling stuff at a low cost of
think our
goods with
average-
like higher shipping.
I think it was like for sure less than $10 profit
Yeah.
on each item.
Yeah, I think we were at like $6 or $7
Yeah.
profit per item,
We didn't know it at the time.
which was fine because it was making money and you were just learning. And
Yeah, we weren't living
yeah.
off of it. It was just side hustle. So we were able to make these mistakes, or I was able to make these mistakes and learn.
Well,
safely.
everyone's going to make those mistakes.
Yeah.
Unless you are super diligent and
Nah,
you
I
start
still
out
think-
picking up one item a day and make sure that item's
Yeah.
perfect. Like you could go into it slow enough to where I think you
Maybe.
could
Yeah.
avoid most of these mistakes.
I did. I was launched many years into the future by going through this group. I made far fewer
Yeah.
mistakes and wasted far less money than if I was trying to figure this out on my own. So I'm definitely very thankful for the group. I have this screenshot. I posted this little GIF, whatever you want to say, back in October in 2022. I said just posting this for myself to reference back to at a later date. Today, this describes my day. Continuing on. This was the day that our truck had, I think that was the day where it was needing to do like a $20,000 bill or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like
That the old truck died, or
no, this
is
the second
the
truck.
second truck
Yeah,
died.
the second truck died, and it was not looking good.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I saw the
truck,
writing on the wall.
That truck's up and running today, though.
Yeah,
it's out there. It's doing mud jacking. So
yeah, this was the day that we saw the writing on the wall that our business that we had, our construction business, was not sustainable, was not reliable, and we needed to figure something out because we, at this point, were new homeowners. This was our first year owning a home, had 2 kids. This was our livelihood that was gambling so hard.
Right. That's funny because consistency, like when I talk to some of our friends about it, they talk about how, reselling's not consistent. Mm-hmm. And I actually hear that quite a bit. Like I'm just looking for a more stable job. And for me, this is the most stable job I've ever had.
Yeah.
The money is more consistent. When you put in the same amount of work and the same amount of quality items in your store every single day, mm-hmm. when you do the same thing every day, the results become pretty repeatable.
Yeah, for sure. So that was the day that I started thinking like maybe we need to consider having you enter the reselling business mm-hmm. with me, because I knew Kyle and I together could for sure pay the bills. Myself, I didn't think I could. Now I know I can, but
totally.
At the time I didn't think I could. So November 30th, from October, the end of October to the end of November, I kicked my butt into gear, and I was determined to officially have Jeans pay our bills. So we could exit you out and pay throughout the winter and exit you out and everything.
Yeah.
So November 30th, I posted in the group, I achieved the goal that got me started doing all of this 10 months ago. It's amazing to come full circle. I am beyond belief. This month, something lit inside of me. I used to feel like the gazelle, and now I'm the lion. This is just the start. I'm setting much higher goals now. I got that confidence because I was able to save or get paid $5,000 in 1 month from reselling. The thing that kept ringing in the back of my head was when I first spoke about this goal, I had someone saying, how are you going to find that many profitable jeans? You'll need 2,000 to 3,000 jeans in your store to make $5,000 a month. And I remember that comment. Yeah. And he commented on that post being like, hey, that was me. Good job. Yeah. And he may be watching this video. I still remember your comment. Jeans are slow and hard to move. I got all these people negatively talking about how I wasn't able to do this because of the jeans. I wasn't selling vintage tees or
you picked the wrong niche.
I picked the wrong niche. And I said, well, here I am doing it. Do exactly what Chris and Tex says. It will work. November 30th. $5,000 paid for our bills. And after that, I told Kyle, I said, you know what? I think we can do this. I think you can join me. I think you can quit our business. I can quit our business. We'll give this to my dad. He can have it 100%. And you and I will split off and start doing eBay full time.
Man, looking back, I can totally see that maybe we jumped like 3 or 4 months too soon. Like we barely covered the bills and then went, all right, cool. We're barely covering the bills in the middle of winter when jeans sell the best.
Yeah, we were quitting our seasonal job and entering into a seasonal job.
Yeah. So, right. So we're getting ready to go right into summer.
Yeah.
with barely covering the bills, with a niche that's supposed to be slowing down, that's supposed to be really hard to sell. And somehow we made it work. But I remember just going like, having like sort of regrets, going like, maybe we should have stayed a little longer just
Yeah.
to get, that income would be nice right now, instead of going
Honestly,
like,
I'm glad
let's
we did it.
DoorDash or
I'm
do
glad we
whatever.
did it.
Yeah, same.
I have screenshots. Before we made this decision, I wanted to make sure that we weren't being stupid. So I had this confidence in me. I reached out to Tech and Sports, and I messaged him just kind of telling him, like, hey, I think we can make something of this. I think we can do this. I said, my main reason for asking this is I feel like we're on the door of making amazing money. We just need to step to the other side. I could see the opportunity there, but I was nervous because I'm like, am I overlooking something? Am I not thinking of something? And he said, I think you can really do this. And I screenshot that because it was so reassuring. I said, that's very reassuring and thank you. And he then said, I walked 23 miles yesterday, slept 4 hours, woke up at 5 a.m. and been getting it ever since. You can do the same. And I said, let's go.
And you have done that.
I have done that.
Like, you've done it one time.
I've done it one time. I have a video coming out where I do his routine. It's coming out later this week.
Yeah.
So, December 1st, I actually at this point started up YouTube. I did YouTube for like a month. Then I stopped. December 1st, though, I was able to record us officially. It was the last day of work of the season.
That was such a weird day. For like, when you do anything for multiple years, especially a company that you start and grow and watch it grow, it was a weird feeling. I remember like drilling holes to do mud jacking, and I was like, I think I was on the last one. I was like, I think this is the last hole I'm ever gonna drill in my life. After drilling thousands of holes for whatever, and same with like filling up the mixer full of material and stuff. Like, this is the last time. I don't think I'm ever gonna do this again.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah. And so that was your day, your last day.
I wonder if I'm gonna have a last day. This is the last pair of jeans I'm ever gonna photograph.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Knows?
We'll see.
But in that video, which I still have it uploaded if you guys want to go watch it, but it's our last day of work for him. And during that video, I am still reselling. Like, I'm continuing on doing what I do every day with reselling. But yeah, in 2022, the 1 year of just Carrie, I mean, you helped me with support, like whenever, like
I was throwing jeans in bags for you.
Yeah. Like the first year, my first year reselling ever, I closed the year out at $134,000 in sales.
Yeah.
Just me, practically.
This year you're gonna hit 300, no matter what people on YouTube say.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe we jumped ship a little too soon, but I don't think so, because it still took like many, many months for that truck to get back up and running for the new mud jacking season. All the stress and the money that we would have spent trying to get that to go, like it was so worth it to not even deal with it. Just wipe our hands clean from it, walk away at the end of the season. We gave my dad enough of a leeway. We told him, we'll help you transition, get an employee, like get this going, because we're not returning next year. So I think it was the perfect time to leave. It's not like we were going to leave 3 months into the season.
Right.
So it was either we had to commit to another year or leave now.
We left him with the company, the website,
everything,
a business, like someone who could help him do all the jobs and could sell jobs, a really good employee.
An employee, at that point we had an employee who was able to sell jobs, do jobs, basically replace you.
Yeah.
But anyway, the rest is history. From there, we became full-time eBay sellers. And we continued studying, continued learning. We're still learning, still growing, still improving. This past year in 2023, together we were able to do just under $240,000 in sales.
Pretty good.
So we're a good team. Wait, you got a mic? Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. And this year, looking at the numbers and what our plans are, I think we're going to be able to crush 300. That's our story. That's how we became full-time eBay resellers. It's
Yep.
why and how we left.
Cool.
So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. And we have plenty more stories to share. So we are on track to do 300K. That's our goal. And I think we'll be able to get there with flying colors. Honestly, I think we might be able to do more.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
and you guys can join us, follow along, see if we achieve this goal by subscribing. And if you like this type of stuff, if you like story times and want to learn more about what we've done, then give it a like to let me know. And I'll see you guys in the comments. Have a good rest of your week.